So this is your King of Kings speaking with you again this morning. I want to make clear what's going on with the Jew. Okay? There's a lot of misrepresentation about stuff in the press and in everyday letters from Harvard, etc., pontificating about the nature of the Jewish question, the Palestinian question, as the case may be. The thing is, my real Jews, those who honor the covenant with their whole heart and whole soul, whole mind, are much like our Muslims. They're very separate from the fake Jews that are wiggling around today, seeking the metaphysical gains of their cousins, yet with zero investment in the covenant whatsoever. In fact, they theoretically, they covertly detest the covenant and God and anything to do with holiness and truth, because they feed on lies for sustenance. Truth is a horror in any shape or form. You see it wiggling in public, shoot it to death. Ever notice? Quite a coincidence, don't you think? Every man who gets a bright idea and seeks to share with his fellows is assassinated. So I'm quite tempted. If it weren't for all these recent student and youthful uprisings, I would be tempted to say, fuck them. Let them stew in their own juices for the next 500 years. And we'll see how together they are. You have no clue what you're doing. You don't know your own anatomy, your genetic degree. You have no idea how things relate with each other. You're beginning to perhaps discover some of that. The Russians have discovered, and have others, that if one boosts the immune system, heck, there's a lot to cure cancer. Anyway, I, it's hard not to fall in love with this place when I see millions and millions and millions of our kids saying, you know what, fuck this. Something about this Zionist jazz sucks the big one. If I were a Palestinian, how would I feel about those fake Jews? I'd want to kill the fuckers. Do. But you see, their Muslim neighbors don't want that. And I don't, for the life of me, understand why not, but they refuse. Their religion requires that they do everything they possibly can not to waste life, to save life, to not squander life, even in battle. And I see this practice and played out to the point where it's driving me out of my cotton picking head. I have no love for the Zionist state whatsoever. And anybody who supports it in any way can go farm on Mars as far as I'm concerned. I'm serious. Yeah. Absolutely worthless addition to the family of man. That's beyond any doubt. So, real Jews have a problem. They have a bunch of very shameful cousins called Zionists. They're not Jews. The Zionists have nothing to do with Jewish at all. A Jew is someone who honors the Ten Commandments of God and plus a bunch of other ones. They build their whole lives around on it. They make money around circumventing that. They obey those laws. They want to be seen as living in fidelity to those laws, and they are seen that way. And I'm never going to desert them. But as for their cousins, Jacob's two sons, I forget which two they were. I think they were the oldest. If somebody wants to look that up for me, I'd be grateful. Decided they would rape, pillage, and loot for profit, and use the most despicable means available to the human kin to do it too, and then have the temerity afterwards to announce their father Jacob after he's beating them half to death in his own disease with everything he's got. What the fuck have you done here? Our name is gonna be shit among the tribes for generations for this. What were you thinking of? To wit, the said sons respond that our sister should be viewed as a whore. We're only doing what's noble and just, Daddy. Why don't you just shut the fuck up, huh? Go play with your God, huh? We're gonna do some real dates around this place. And so, I don't think it really matters which two of those sons prevaricated the event with Dina, but that's the beginning of anti-Semitism on this planet. The stuff, particularly the old stuff we do, sticks with us. It doesn't go away no matter how many incarnations you have. There's a thing called metaphysical law. It affects 100% of all sentience, even animals. Who used to think cows were dumb and stupid? Every sentient wiggler has, even flies have their life. It's not very long, They irritate the fuck out of me in season. I still feel guilty for killing them. They're pissing me off. I don't have the patience for them anymore. I used to. Anyway, there's a God, and she was never living inside of any clouds. She doesn't like me to brag right out loud, so I'm not going to tell you her name or nothing. Certainly not right now. But she's wiggling among you now. You see her, you know her, but you don't know her. You can't see the other half of her. The other 9/10 of her life you see is her talented form on a stage. What's the word? You don't know you brother. You never did. Anyway, this is Blake Christian, your King of Kings, saying it's beginning to be a pleasure to be your king again. Until we see the worldwide uprisings against this horror of truth and the horror of logic and horror of religion and the horror of everything good and noble called the zionst. Bill finds you're taking ways you cannot imagine. I want to thank you for a person like you. Yeah, that's it for me for today. Thanks for the year.